So yesterday we have seen executing the mobile script for web, and we have written for native also. But for native, due to the Java dependency, it was not executing. So let's see that execution today. So we have considered one of the responsive web application. So what do you mean by responsive web application, guys? We have wrote one test case yesterday for goldmansachs.com, right? So this is a responsive web application. So what do you mean by responsive web application? Yeah, definitely it is a web-based application. So what exactly is a responsive web design? How is it different with normal web-based applications? Why we call it as in a responsive web design application? So responsive applications are the applications which looks as per the user's content. Let's say if you're launching it in a Chrome browser, if you're launching it in Chrome browser, goldmansachs.com. So it's launching in a complete browser, right? User can interact with, correct. So now when I load the same Goldman Sachs application in my mobile device in a Chrome browser, so let me open my mobile and show you. So if I'm typing the same URL, goldmansachs.com, so let me type Goldman Sachs only. Yeah. So I'm loading the same URL. The URL what I loaded in Chrome browser and the URL what I loaded in mobile is same. But when I'm loading in a 5-inch mobile screen like this, so you can see the menu bars are coming under a menu button. So I have a menu button here. Under that I'm getting menu bars. So under the sub menu bars and all will come under sub menu. So it's everything in an organized way as per the screen. If I am loading the same the screen in a different tablet, which is a 10-inch tablet, then the menu, half of the menus you can see, and rest half will be in a under responsive menu button. Like this, based on your screen size, now it is a 5-inch phone. This is a browser which is of a Windows size browser. So based on the end user's device or the end user device screen size, the user interface will automatically load and display to the user. The user interaction will be very good. The code what written under the application, the web application or the WAR file which is deployed in the server is same. It's only one application. We are not deploying one application separately for mobile, one for desktop. It's same application, but you are handling the user interaction and user interface in a code level manner with the help of CSS like this. Okay, you are writing some responsive code. So such types of web applications which loads as per the user's screen size is called as responsive mobile web applications. So yesterday we have seen a simple test case for login failure of Goldman Sachs portal, right? So let us execute the same test case. Before that, let me check if APM is running or not. So let me stop this APM server and rerun it again. Okay. So let me close some other application. Yeah. So now my APM server is running. I have written the code here. I have provided the capabilities on what particular device I'm going to execute, what is the operating system of the device, version of the device, on which browser I'm going to execute here, and platform is Android platform. So let me execute this test scenario and show it in your mobile screen. So before that, let me close the Chrome browser. So now the execution has started. So you can see the logs in the APM server. It says UI automator has stopped. Okay. So let's stop the program and re-execute this again. Now I would suggest you guys to read all these APM logs, at least in a very high level manner, so that you will get how exactly which is communicating. Suppose if ADB is communicating, it will tell a app is installed, getting connected devices, one devices is connected. Now we are running this Chrome browser in that particular app. Then the control will go to UI automator. Now UI automator will start pushing our scripts here. Okay, this is the process happening. So you will understand the complete architecture if you are able to read these logs in this particular APM server. Okay, so let me stop my APM server and close it again, open it again, because I was working previously with UI automator. So there is a duplicate instance. So any queries on setting up your script for mobile web, guys? So my APM server started. Let me execute the script. Code 0. Okay. Let me kill this instance, guys. So, before that, yeah. Now I don't have any other UI automated instances running on the ADB instance also. Let's create a Maven project also, so that you can stick to the dependencies and don't worry about the duplicated jar files what we were facing the issue yesterday. So before that, let's execute this web script. So you can see here now the Chrome driver has started. Previously, while starting the Chrome driver, we were facing some issues because the previous Chrome driver.quit has not happened successfully. So after killing out the complete ADB instance and closing out the APM server, now the test case execution has started. Initially, it will click on login here, then it will click for login.js. It will enter the username and some password here. Click on login button. Some authentication failed error will come. Yeah. So this is our test case which we have written yesterday. So now we are familiar how to identify the elements also. So once you are opening your browser here, okay, just click Chrome inspect. So this will open how many devices are connected, and this Lenovo device and one instance of my Chrome browser is available. So if you want to inspect elements in that particular page, just click on inspect, or you can just refresh this page. Okay. Or you can type the URL from here and it will launch automatically. Okay, let me launch this in Chrome browser here. So my Chrome is launched in the mobile device. Now let me inspect here. I will get a complete device screen here. So you can use this device screen as it is for inspecting your web elements. Clear? So use your inspect button, inspect your mobile web elements through this Chrome inspector when your real mobile device session is connected. By this, if you are able to identify your XPath ID name correctly here, definitely it will work in your APM mobile web script. The same XPaths will work here. Clear, guys? So any queries in identifying this, inspecting the elements in Chrome? Inspecting XPath. So if you see here in the previous yesterday's class, we have inspected for more than 7 to 8 elements. So let's consider the same URL. So copy this URL, goldmansachs.com. So now go to your Chrome browser. When you are in your Chrome browser, okay, so just make sure that you have connected your mobile device and launched Chrome as well. So now I have launched Chrome here. Okay. So I'm just providing Goldman Sachs URL here and I'm opening it in my mobile device. Clear? If you want to inspect your XPath for this particular responsive menu button, so just click here. So here you can see which is the part. So now there are two instances here in my Chrome browser, two tabs. Basically in my mobile, if you see here, there were two tabs. One is new Chrome tab, one is Goldman Sachs. So it will show you how many Chrome instances are, that many instances here. Now you want to do inspected for Goldman Sachs portal, right? So click on this inspect. So this Chrome will open, Chrome windows will get open here. So now click on this inspect. Okay, you have your inspect bar here. Click on this inspect bar and select the menu button here. Okay. So this will show you. Let me maximize this one. Yeah, sorry. Okay, can you see it clearly now? Yeah. Now click on the inspect bar. Select whichever element you want to search or you want to find your XPath. It will show in the code. Right click, copy your XPath. So rest is similar, guys, same thing. So and you can check your XPath. Like press Ctrl F, you will get a find bar, and you can inspect your element. You can use the same element. This element you're directly getting the code from your connected mobile device itself. Now your mobile device is connected here. For this page, this is the web element code, DOM code. From this DOM code, you identify what is the element of your page, like ID, name, XPath, like this, whatever it is, class name, like this. Okay, for web, you will identify like this. How do I identify your elements for native, guys? For native applications, which are already installed in mobile device, like contact manager is there here. For this, how do you identify your applications? I mean, you inspect your elements. So yesterday we have discussed how to identify the elements for your native applications. Yeah, taking a screenshot, correct? So how do you do that? So you use some tool, right? If you go to your Android SDK where it is installed, there you will get a UI Automator viewer, correct? Yes, UI Automator. So where is your SDK? Your SDK will be under users folder, app data, local, Android SDK. So under tools folder, go to the bin folder, double click on UI Automator. And I just want to highlight you one thing, guys. So the common issue what we face. So now if I take this UI Automator, it will fill here because my APM instance is already running. Okay. So okay, I have completed my code. So during your code execution, when you are executing a test case, if you want to inspect any other elements for your another test case, you cannot open your UI Automator because your APM will be using your UI Automator instance from backend. So this you can see here, right, in APM logs, moving state, shutting down UI Automator. So now UI Automator is shut down. That's why we are able to use this UI Automator here. Suppose if your UI Automator is communicating still with your device, then you will be not able to do that. Okay. So make sure that you close your APM before you open UI Automator, or before executing your script, you just close your UI Automator and you execute your APM scripts. Now in UI Automator, you can just take a snapshot here. Take screenshot button is there. Take a snapshot. Click on particular element which you want to identify. Then you will get in how many indexes of the, let's say add contact, 2 index are there, or resource ID, class name, package name, like this. Let's say you identify your ID, copy this ID, and you can check it here. So now it is automatically detected here. Now you can check if it is multiple instances, you can navigate through your code here. So this is the way you can identify your native elements using UI Automator viewer. For web, we are using Chrome Inspect and connecting with a real mobile device. Clear, guys? Any queries? Nikhil, can you go on mute? So the participants who has joined the call, can you please go on mute? Nikhil, can you please go on mute? Guys, whoever joining the call in late, please go on mute. So it creates disturbance for other participants. So just give me a sec, guys. I'm doing private chat with Nikhil. Okay. Sorry, guys. So take a screenshot and you can identify whatever you want to inspect. Let's write a simple script for this one. So before this, let's create a Maven project. I will show you how to create Maven project for APM. So this is our Eclipse workspace. Create a project here. Select Maven. And select Maven project. So just a second, guys. I have some questions. So if you want to run two test cases, one from web and another from native at the same time. Yes, so definitely your declaration will be same. Priya, you can do that. Let's do that after the setup of Maven project. So you can give your group ID. Let's say com.test. Let's say your artifact ID as APM Maven demo. So now we got a Maven project here. Also, you can remove your folders, whatever you're not using here. So I'm just removing the resources folders. I just need only source test.java to write the test cases or source main Java. So you have your page object model, right? So if you declare your dependencies here, all the jar files which are required will be automatically pushed to your downloaded and pushed to Maven dependencies, guys. So I have the dependencies here. So these are dependencies which are required for Maven. So I'm using the JUnit here and Selenium HQ. This is the APM .io APM dependency and the test-ng. So copy these dependencies and provide it here. So if you see here now, you got your Maven dependencies. So these are all the required indirectly referred jar files. So yesterday we have missed out some of the jar files in this. So that's where we were facing issue while executing the error. So we missed out common IO supporting jar file and the GSend jar file. So that is what the issue we faced yesterday. So that's why I recommend you. I will share this code, this projects, workspaces, everything with you guys. So try to work with Maven projects initially. Then once you're familiar on what all the jar files you are required, then you can download the jar files and you can add up locally and you can work with that. Clear? So this is the setup which is required for Maven. So you just inside your project tag, uh, create your dependency tag and copy your APM and Selenium dependencies. So these are the APM and Selenium dependencies with J8 and TestNG frameworks. So I have this simple four dependencies, which this will in turn download all the required jar files. Okay. So any queries, guys, still here? We are already aware how to create Maven project and execute this one, right? So for APM, you are providing your APM dependency here, and you are, since you also need Selenium jar files, you are providing Selenium dependency here. And for test case, if you want to write your test cases, I am just providing your test ng. Now let's write a simple test case here. So we will write our test in the form of Java class only. So let me create a package. So then I have to give a class name here. So in Maven, we can take versions of all latest versions of all dependencies, right? Yeah, you can take that. So if you refer to apm.io, so you just go to the APM portal, check which is the latest version. Go to the downloads, Java. So here you can click on the POM, okay? So or this is the POM file which will allow you to specify all the dependencies. Either you can give like this, okay, your page object model, or I am just giving scope here. Scope provided means which are dependent jar files for this Java client. Automatically that will be downloaded into your Maven dependencies. Clear? Okay. So let's create a simple Java class here. Scope means, so if you see here the jar file, official jar file, we are giving lot of dependencies here. Dependency google.json dependency, Selenium API dependency, HTTP client, C library, common validator. But if you see our page object model framework, you are giving just only one APM dependency, .io APM, and you have mentioned scope equal to provided. Clear? So this way, what the scope will do is it will check out what all the dependency jar files it is required to execute this Java client. Indirectly, it will refer all the jar files and download the jar files to your Maven repository here. Okay. So any other queries, guys, in Maven setup? Now we have just create a simple Java class. So just we'll copy the code what we are writing here. Okay. So let's copy this code, guys. Desired capabilities. Just provide your desired capabilities here, and declare your driver here, APM driver. import your APM driver here. Now, what is not required in this capabilities, guys, when you're working with native, your browser is not required. So remove this capability, browser name, and what is required, what other or capabilities are required for to work with native. So we need app package and app activity. So just specify app package. So just make sure that when you're giving your keys, it is no spell errors are there, so that app activity. So let's work for the contact manager application first. So this is the package name. Copy the package name. Provide it here. Copy the activity name. Provide it here. Clear. So these are the mandated desired capabilities. If you see our setup process. So for APM native, in desired capabilities, we are removing browser name here, and we are adding package name and activity name. So that is done now. Now driver initialization with Android driver or APM driver, correct? So APM driver will have capability to typecast with both iOS driver as well as your Android driver. Now since you are working with Android driver, you need to typecast your driver with Android. So we have declared APM driver already here, correct? Now just use the same driver instance here and specify with new Android driver. Since you're not working with hybrid application, remove this web element typecast. Specify your remote address like with new URL. Then provide your URL. So what is the URL that you need to provide here? Can you show the image again? Okay. So this is the process what we follow here. So for Selenium, it's very clear, pretty clear, straightforward. So everyone are clear with this, right? For APM mobile web, instead of WebDriver, the process is same. We are using remote WebDriver, and we are setting up capabilities with browser. And when you are working with native applications, means the applications which doesn't require internet connectivity and installed in the Android device, you need to use package name and activity name. So why this package and activity name are used, guys? So to uninstall, to install, or to identify your application uniquely. And activity name is to identify your page, current page or activity, what your mobile is there. So you need to provide, since you are automating your native application, you need to tell your driver, your APM driver or your Android driver, hey, I'm intended to automate this package name and this activity name. So my code, what I have written for automation, you go and execute only on this package name and this activity name. Clear? So that you are providing a desired capability and you are providing your APM URL. Now you have your APM driver. So your APM driver will have capability for with iOS as well as Android driver. Now since we are working with Android mobile device, specify your Android here. Okay, specify your Android driver, or if you are working with iOS, you can specify as iOS driver here. So I'll just write and show you how iOS driver is there. So you can see here even iOS driver is also available in the same jar files. The code is same. Instead of app package and app activity name, what you're going to use in iOS, guys? So can't it just identify with package name, as it should be unique for all applications? So can you frame your question in a understandable way, Priya? So you mean that only package name you need to provide in desired capabilities instead of activity name? So see, activity name is something that you are not giving all the pages, right? So your automation code might go 5, 6 pages, but you are giving only your home launching pages. The first page or the splash screen activity or the home activity page you are giving. Means this is my first page. So from here you start executing the automation code. So this is, suppose if you are giving the second screen, your APM script will fail because the developer will not give permissions directly to launch second page. So this is the first page, right? Similarly, I will show you how the second page or the other pages will be identified. So like that, the developer will not do access to all the pages. He will give access only to the first page so that the user can navigate in the first page and work it. But in iOS, if you see here, you no need to set capabilities for both app package and activity because you have only bundle identifier. So bundle identifier is something equivalent to package name in our Android. And once you provide your bundle identifier, then iOS will take care of itself. You no need to provide any activity. There is no concept of activities in iOS automation. Okay, so since we are working with Android, you need to provide your Android, and the URL here is, so just import your old URL where your APM server is running. So it's running on 4723 port in your local host. So you need to specify a URL like this. So clear, guys, till here? Any queries? Writing up your native script. For web, what we were doing, instead of these 2 lines, we were giving the browser name as Chrome, and instead of Android driver, we were giving remote web driver because we are executing in the APM server. APM server is nothing but your remote server which is running in your local machine. Clear? So your setup is done. Now let me give some weight here. So when this driver is declared, initially it will automatically load your application what you provided in your app package and activity. So let me execute this script for you. And this is my mobile device. This is my APM. So when you are executing your mobile scripts, guys, APM will install one sample application. Don't worry about that. Yeah. So it has automatically launched the application. I have not written any code to launch the application, but it has launched the application telling that, hey, I have just launched the application. From here, you can start writing your code. Okay. Or you also have a keyword here in driver Android driver, close app, launch app. So this will relaunch your application if it is already launched. Launch application, wait for 5 seconds, then we'll write a, to close your application. Okay. and again wait for 5 seconds, relaunch your application. Okay, so let me execute this script. Now it has launched the application. It will wait for 5 minutes, closing the application now. Sorry, 5 seconds. And it will relaunch the application. Because close app is one of the keyword, I mean the one of the method which will close the application and open the application. Means close in the sense it will not close your WebDriver. It is closing your application in this particular WebDriver or the API driver instance or an Android driver instance. Clear? Close. Normally in WebDriver, if you write driver.close, what will happen, guys? So driver.close, what it will do? So what is the difference between driver.close and driver.quit, guys? It will close only main browser. Okay. So any other answers, guys? The difference between driver.close and driver.quit? So the others in the call like Prakash, Ninad, Neetu. So are you not aware what is the difference between driver.close in a normal Selenium WebDriver? I'm asking. Yes, close closes the current browser, correct? And it will close the entire session. So the entire session will not close with the driver.close, Vaishali. The close will close the current window and quit will close all the windows which are opened. Okay, so that is the difference in Selenium driver. Now if you see here, driver.close means close app is separate keyword, and you also have a keyword like driver.close. So when I say driver.close, the execution will stop here. You can see here driver.close, right? So this is from WebDriver, this one. So close.app is nothing but from APM driver one. Now in the same thing, same session, I can use native as well as web. One session I can start with Android driver, and one more session I can start with remote WebDriver session. Clear? Okay, what is the next step, guys? Let's say launch application is done success. What is the next step here? So if you want to write your test case here, so let's say this is my mobile device. So let me launch the application here. So this I have a contact manager application. The next step is I need to identify the devices, identify the particular native elements. Like let's say I want to click on this add contact button. I need to identify this particular XPath, or I need to create an XPath for this. Or if I have IDs, I can work with IDs, names, class names like this, correct? So to identify these XPath names IDs, what tool we can use? Monitor. So inside device monitor, we have multiple things, Pallavi. So it's UI Automator. UI Automator is the one which is used to inspect your native elements here. Clear? So go to your Android SDK installed path. So I have my Android SDK here. So let me ping it to quick access so that I can access it quickly. So I have tools folder. Under tools folder, I have this UI Automator Viewer batch file. Open this batch file. So you will have a UI Automator. Take a screenshot here. Now you want to click on Add Contact button, right? So select Add Contact button. You can see the attributes of this button. Okay. Now the text is Add Contact. Resource ID is this one, Add Contact. Let's copy this ID. Or this is the class name, Android widget button class name, and the content description you have as Add Contact. So like this, you have different attributes here. Sometimes name also will be available. So these are your attributes. In web element we have attributes, right? Like ID, text, class name, link text, like this. Similarly, for native elements, we have text, resource ID, class, package, content description, name. Like this, you will have different things. Once you identify your ID, so just verify, click on the search bar and enter. So it will highlight here in the screen, add button. So copy this add contact button ID. Now your code will not change, guys. So whatever you are using in your Selenium or the mobile web, the same APIs you can use, like driver.find element or by.id. Either you can write by.id like this, okay, or you have a direct method to identify your ID. What is the operation that we need to do on this particular button? So it's a click operation. Okay. So either you can write like this, or you have the direct method like driver dot find element by ID. So you can write either like this also, guys. So whatever you are comfortable, you can use in that method. You can use that particular method. So since you are all familiar with this by class, let's see this direct method, how it works here. Let me comment the above one. So now let's see this click operation. Then we will write, we will inspect the other test case elements later. So I have executed this one. Launch the operation. So now it has clicked on add contact. Okay. Now we need to give some contact name, phone number, contact email ID, and we can save this phone number. So let's inspect element for this one. So before that, let me stop APM and open UI Automator. Take a screenshot of this device. Okay. Now, what are the elements we need to identify? We need contact name, guys. What operation we need to perform here? So send keys is the operation which we are going to perform in the contact name. So copy this ID and create a send keys operation function here. Similarly, we have other two operations also, right? Not send keys. Okay. So inspect your elements for your other elements also here. Edit text. So contact phone field. Edit text. Change it here. So let me give my phone number like this. And what is the contact name? Inspect on the contact name here. So just use the contact name also. Sorry, email also. So let's say info@wipro.com. Use our contact. So let's write this. Let's not save this one because it will save into my phone. This one. Also, similarly, we can identify expert for save button also. Okay, so the operation is just click operation. So I'm just skipping that step. Let's see entering this name into this contact name, phone number, and email into this native application. Clear, guys? Any queries here? How to inspect your native elements and sending the keys using? So the code remains same, guys. The code will not differ for mobile web or normal Selenium, Chrome automation, or with mobile native. The code, all the driver functions, everything will be same as it is. The only way it changes is identifying your elements. Here you are using UI Automator to identify your native elements, whereas for mobile web elements you will be using Chrome browser. Clear? So let's close this UI Automator, execute the APM. Let's start the APM server, then we'll execute the script, guys. So the APM server is running fine here. Now let's execute this script. Let me showcase my mobile here. So this is my APM server. So it should launch this one. Click on add contact, send some keys to contact name. So now it's entering in the contact name. So the contact phone number and the contact email address, it will show it here. Clear? So if you want to work with drop down, so you can work, guys. So it is same here. Home, then just clicking there, then selecting out your drop down. However, you are doing that in your normal web, right? Select class, same select class is also available here. So use this select class, then you will be able to work with your select class also. Okay. So let's have a quick break for 5 minutes, guys. So post break, we will work with some other application, banking application for login scenario. Uh, okay. Can you show one drop? Yeah, yeah. So we'll do that, Pallavi. Post break, we'll do for drop down also. Clear. So let's break out for 5 minutes, guys. Guys, let's resume the session. So we have seen contact manager, right? How to automate this contact manager. Let's also check one more application. I have a sample application of AirryBank. So this AirryBank application. Let's install this application and check write an automation test case flow for logging in using native application. Okay. Yeah. So before that, we will do one drop down here. Okay. So for drop down, let us inspect the expert here in contact manager. Okay, add contact. So open your UI Automator. So when you're running your UI Automator, just stop your APM server. Go to SDK. Okay, take a screenshot of this mobile, then inspect this drop down. So one thing, guys, when you're working with native applications, so when you're inspecting like this, you need to check in which Android class, especially when you are working for Android. Okay, so if you see here, this is class is Android widget.edit text. So this is edit text, and let's select this one. So if you see widget.button, so when you're working with select class, you don't select this is a label or text view. So this is your spinner class. Okay, so since it is spinner, I think you will be not able to do with select class. Let's do with the click method and identify this one. So if you want to work with select method, you need to use your Android widget dot select class is available. So the developer should write the code with select class. So let's copy this ID now and check and write a code here. Let's see if you can able to work with select class. Otherwise, we need to use the click operations. Select. Let's give a name. New select of driver dot find element. Okay. So let's say select dot by value. Let's say by visible text. So what is the text that we are able to see here? So it's work. Let's select work here. Okay. Before that, let's start the APM server. Close this one. Let me execute the script. So before that, let me close this contact manager application from mobile. Your mobile is here. So it will enter contact name, contact phone, and contact email. Then you should come to home. Select. It's not a select actually. It's a spinner. I doubt whether spinner will be working with select class. Okay, element should be select, but was Android. Yeah, so it's not possible to automate with Android widget or spinner. So what you can do is you can perform like this, guys. Just perform click operations in the spinner. Click operation. So open your AI Automator viewer. Take a snapshot. Okay. So then you need to select on the work. So once you click select this one, take a screenshot again. Click on home or I mean this anywhere in this spinner. So we have already this one. So perform click operation. So when you perform click operation here, then you will get like this again, right? Now inspect the element for this one and you can select like this way. Clear? So only when your widget class, so when your widget class is select here, when your widget class is select here, then you will be able to work with select class. Otherwise, it is like normal, guys. Click operation, select the identify this element, click it here, then you will get this one. Again, take a screenshot of this one. You'll get a screenshot here. Now identify which element you want to click here. So let's say it is ID is text one. Copy this one. So click on this particular text box. Text to others like work. Okay, so let's write here. So you can use XPath here. So you can write your XPaths with this like this, guys. If it is text, let's say it's work. And let's check what is the class here. For these classes, checked text view class. I will tell you this, guys. Let me phrase this code now. So can we use ID? So definitely you can use ID, but it is ambiguity here. If you see here, these are check text view classes. The class is check text view. So the ID is text1 for all the 4 classes. Correct? See, the ID is not changing here. It's only text1. So this unique here. Your text is unique. So I am considering your text. So by this way, I can showcase you how to write an XPath here for a native also. I'm just selected this text. So this XPath we need to manually write, guys. The first part is your class name. So Android dot widget dot check text view. So if you see, select this attribute, we can see that is your class name, and you have text here. So this is your contains. We are checking for text, and this is our text. So this is how we are identifying our XPath. Okay, let's close this UI Automator viewer, open the APM server, execute this and check out. So before that, let's close the application in mobile. So let me execute this APM. So now it's clicked on add-on. It will enter all the details. Then you should click on home here. Then after clicking on home, you should select this work. Okay. So now if you see here, instead of home, it has selected work here. Clear? So this is the way almost all the native drop-downs will be with Spinner classes, guys. So if you are working with hybrid applications, then it will be with a select class. Then the developer will provide select class there because he will dynamically get the data in select class. Here, since only 4 options will be there, no dynamic data will be coming, right? So that's why the developer hard-coded these 4 values. So any queries in identifying the elements, native elements using UI Automator viewer? So do you want me to take one more example on different application other than this contact manager? Are we good with native? Okay. So do you want me to show for any other application, guys? Yeah, I have a sample application APK here. Let's see. So I have for AnyBank. So let us install this one and let's do quickly for login here. So how do you install your application, guys, into your mobile device? So I have my mobile device here. So if you see here, I don't have in the E section, I don't have AnyBank application. Only two applications I have, email and Evernote. So I need to install this application into this mobile device. How can I do that? So my developer has given this APK file. So my developer has given this APK file. Yeah. So if I want to install this one into this mobile device, so I need to use Android debug bridge with ADB commands, correct? ADB install. And the path of this particular application and enter. Okay. So it is success. Now if you see here the mobile, a new icon has added with AnyBank. So the application, let me manually open this application and show you. So I forgot the data. Okay, I think it is company on company, guys. The username should be company. and password should be company. Yes. So then we have some options like make a payment, mortgage register. So initially we will be having $100 balance. Then if you do some payment for some entering the applications, then in the server, automatically this amount will be reduced. So this is a sample hybrid application, native come hybrid application. So let's do for this one, login and logout will do. Just click on logout, it will come back to login screen. Okay. So what is the next step, guys? So let's clone this test case. So this test case will be useful when you want to work for contact manager. What I'll do is I will just rename this class into contact manager. And I'll just clone this and I will mention it as native Airy Bank. Okay. So what exactly now I need to change here? Now the automation code is not required here. So yeah, it's a hybrid Airy Bank. Just press rename it as hybrid. Fine. So this code is not specific to this application, so I cannot use this code. I will remove this one. Okay. Then what exactly I need to change here in the other digit capabilities case? Do I need to change my platform name? Do I need to change my version, device name? Not required, right? Only the app package and app activity name, because my app package and activity name is different for this application. Now I am not working for contact manager application. I'm working for a different hybrid application. So this is my hybrid application. For this, I need to identify the package and activity name. So how do you identify the package and activity name, guys? So we have a quicker way to have current activity. So let's launch Airy Bank application. com.experitest.expery bank. And the home activity is login activity. So just specify that one here. The Eclipse. Experitest dot Expery Bank. So this is my package name com.experitest.expery bank only bank. And my activity name is package name plus login activity is the first activity for this application. So this is in mobile screen, Priya. How can we copy the mobile screen into your Eclipse? It's not possible. So I'm just showcasing this mobile screen to you people. after executing the script, is the script is really running or not. So just for that confirmation, I'm showcasing this mobile screen. So it's not possible to copy this text and all. Okay. So let's execute this one and check if the application will launch or not. So I have my mobile screen and APM ready. Yeah. So the application has launched. Now the next process is identifying your native elements. So we need to use UI Automator. So let me quickly open this UI Automator. Guys, let's record all the elements here: username, password, login button, everything at a time, because we should keep on switching between APN and UI Automator. So this is the text. This is, you have the ID here. So this is the ID, and you have password. And for login button, you have this login button. Okay. Let's start APM server. By the time you can write our code. So what is the API that we need to use here, guys? What is the method that we need to use here? It's by ID. And what operation? Send keys is the operation. Similarly, second one is password. Third one is login button. And here is click operation. Clear? Here the data is company, CUM, and the password is also company. Username and password is company. Let's wait here for 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Okay, clear, guys. Any queries here? So we have just identified the XPath for username, password, and login button, and we are sending this data into these particular fields. Clear? And we are clicking on a login button. So these are the IDs for that this one. Let's execute this one. So before that, let's start API. Suppose if you don't start your APM server and execute your script, you will get like this, guys. Could not start a new session. Possible causes are invalid address of a remote server or a browser failure, because it is not able to get your remote server address. Since your APM server is shut down and it's not running now. Clear? So you need to start your APM server. Okay. Now execute the script. Just show you mobile device. So it launched the application. You should enter company and it'll click on login button. Yes. So now the login is success. So this is the way you can. So now there are a lot of operation, guys. Now I'll upload this APK file and I'll provide assignments for you so that you can work with this. Make this balance $50 or $0 like this based on your operations what you perform here, like expense request, mortgage request. You have multiple options here. Or if you're making a payment to some just something, $30 payment is made here. You can come and verify your balance again if it is $70 or not. Yes, I will provide this APK file as well. Clear? So any queries in hybrid and native, guys? So for web, let me show this one. Yeah. So when you're working with web automation, you will be specifying your mobile web automation. You will be specifying your driver as remote web driver. You initialize your driver with remote web driver. When you're working with native or hybrid applications, you will be specifying with, suppose if it is Android device, it is Android driver, or if it is iOS device, you will specify as iOS driver. The only driver initialization will change, guys. So all the rest code, APIs, everything is same, like how you write in Selenium. For native and hybrid apps, you'll use Android driver for Android mobiles, iOS driver for iOS mobile, and the capabilities will change accordingly. If it is native app package, app activity, and if it is web application, you'll use your browser name. Clear, guys? Any queries in native or hybrid? Clear? So that's it I have for today for native automation. So if any queries, you can ping me. We'll discuss that before we wind up today's call. And tomorrow we will see the APM will provide you some recording session. It'll you can record and you can get the code as well. So we'll